The Dallas housing market right now is divided, and you probably don't have the full picture of what that actually means to you. Buyers pulled back hard last month. Nearly 1 in 4 buyers who were going under contract a year ago just did not show up. And when that happens, most people expect one thing: prices drop. The market falls apart.
Except that's not quite what happened across the DFW Metroplex. When you see the actual data across the 4 counties and a few suburbs like Flower Mound, Argyle, Northlake, you're going to get a clearer picture than the generic headlines that just aren't telling you the full story. There is a huge split in this market between the people who came out winning and those who lost time and money. And once you see what's driving that split, you're going to have a better understanding of this market than most people out there right now, including a lot of real estate agents, unfortunately. So if you want to win, the next few minutes will set you up to make a smart move.
Let's start with how many homes are actually available right now, because this is the foundation that everything builds on. 2 counties have fewer homes available than a year ago. Tarrant is down nearly 9%, Dallas down over 7%. Fewer homes available means less competition for sellers and fewer choices for buyers. Denton and Collin County are essentially flat, both up just slightly from last year. Buyers have the same number of options they did 12 months ago.
So here's why that matters to you directly. If you're a buyer in Tarrant or Dallas County right now and you're still looking at a smaller pool of homes for sale, that dynamic is a big part of what drove home prices last month. And we'll get there in a few minutes. Now, if you're a seller in Tarrant or Dallas County, you have less competition right now than you've had in a while, which is a real advantage, but only if you know how to use it. And if you're in Denton or Collin County, buyers there have a few more options to choose from, which means they have more room to be selective. And a selective buyer behaves very differently than a buyer who feels like they're running out of choices. This means if you're a seller there, you have to really know how to stand out and get chosen.
Now, let's look what deals are being made right now. Homes where buyer and seller have agreed on a price and they're moving towards closing. This is the most real time number we have. Wherever this goes this month, closings follow next month. This is the truest pulse of what's actually happening. Now, these are the ones that are in contract. Last month, every single county dropped from a year ago. Denton down almost 23%, Collin down nearly 21%, Tarrant down about 15%, Dallas down over 27%.
Now, to put that in plain terms, Dallas County had about 1,400 homes go under contract last month. A year ago, it was closer to 1,900. That's roughly 500 fewer buyers making a move in Dallas County alone in 1 month. So buyers pulled back, and it makes sense when you think about what's been happening. A lot of buyers are sitting on the sidelines right now waiting, thinking interest rates are going to keep dropping, thinking prices are going to come down even further. But while they wait, sellers that have the best homes are still selling, and the buyers who are ready are finding less to choose from in some of these counties. What's important to understand is that fewer buyers doesn't automatically mean the market falls apart. It really comes down to how many homes are available at the same time. And we already showed you what's happening there. 2 counties with significantly fewer homes available than a year ago, fewer buyers, and fewer homes to choose from. Those two things are pulling in opposite directions. And that tension is exactly what's shaping everything we're about to show you.
Now, let's look at the homes that actually sold last month, the ones that crossed the finish line. Every county is down from a year ago. Denton down nearly 9%, Tarrant just over 8%, Collin down about 10%, Dallas down almost 12%. And there's a real reason for that. A lot of sellers are holding out and hoping to be able to get back to those 2022 prices. And a lot of buyers are scared to make the wrong move, overpaying for a home or getting stuck with something they're going to regret. When both sides are frozen like that, fewer homes close.
And you know what? That fear makes complete sense given everything people have been hearing. Sellers remember what happened in 2022 and they want those numbers. Buyers have been told to wait for prices to drop and they're holding out for a deal. So both sides are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment. And that standoff is a big part of what's driving these numbers down. But here's what the actual data shows you: the market isn't crashing. People are still making smart deals right now. They're moving forward with their lives instead of being paralyzed by the what ifs. And the ones who are winning on both sides are the ones who stopped waiting for a market that isn't coming back and started working with the market that's actually here right now. That's what the rest of this data is going to show you, because when you have the real numbers in front of you, not just the headlines or not what someone told you at a dinner party or your neighbor, the picture gets a lot clearer and a lot less scary.
Now, let's look at how long homes are sitting before they get an offer. Compared to this same time last year, Denton County homes are sitting about 4 days more. Collin and Tarrant counties are almost the exact same number this time last year. And Dallas County is actually moving 2 days faster than it was a year ago.
Look at that pattern. The two counties where fewer homes are available, Tarrant and Dallas, are the same two counties where homes are still moving at the same speed or faster than last year. Even with buyers pulling back, that's what happens when there are fewer homes to choose from. The buyers who are still active don't have as many options. So when a well positioned home shows up, they move on it. Denton and Collin slowing down a little, that makes sense too. A few more homes available, a little more choice, and buyers take their time. And this is actually where the most important part of this data starts to come into focus, because the difference between a home that sells in under a week and one that sits for 6 months and sells for less, it's not timing and it's not chance. The actual transactions from last month show you exactly what the difference looks like. Now, we're going to get into those numbers in just a minute, but first let's finish the county picture so that you have the full context.
Now, let's look what sellers are actually walking away with compared to what they were originally asking for. And here's something worth pointing out. After a dip through late 2025, every county has been climbing back. Sellers are getting closer to their asking price now than they were 6 months ago. Part of what's driving this is sellers are pricing closer to where the market actually is. A year or two ago, we were seeing a lot of aspirational pricing, sellers coming in way above market, hoping a buyer would meet them there. That's been burning people. The sellers who are doing well right now come in priced realistically from day one. Right now, Tarrant sellers are landing about 3.4% below their asking price. Denton and Dallas right now are around 4.3 to 4.4% below asking, and Collin is sitting about 4.8% below asking. And every single county held or ticked up slightly from this time last year.
Now, let me put that in real dollars so it actually means something to you. If you're selling an $800,000 home in Tarrant County right now, sellers are typically agreeing to around $27,000 less than their asking price. In Denton and Dallas, it's closer to $34,000 to $35,000 less than asking, and in Collin, closer to $38,000 less. But here's what that average doesn't show you. The homes that sold over asking are pulling that number up. The homes that sat for 6 months and had to keep cutting their price, they're pulling it down. So if your home is positioned correctly for where this market actually is right now, you're likely aiming at or above what you've asked for. We've seen it over and over in our 20 plus years of doing this and throughout many market shifts. The average reflects both groups together, and which group you end up in, it comes down almost entirely to how you position it on day one. That's the time you have to make the most impact and create excitement for the buyers. When we partner with our sellers to launch their house on the market, it creates a demand that puts them in the driver's seat and pulls the most amount of money possible. It works in any market.
Here's where prices actually landed last month compared to a year ago. Tarrant essentially flat, less than $1,000 off from last May, barely moved. Denton up 2.7%, about $12,000 more than a year ago. Collin down just under 1%, so about $4,000 less than last May. In Dallas, up 6.8%. That's $25,000 more than last May. Dallas is the biggest mover of all four counties this month. So just let that sink in for a second. Buyers pulled back, fewer homes sold, and 3 out of 4 counties saw prices hold or go up from last year. Tarrant barely moved by less than $1,000. The one county that softened, Collin, did it by about $4,000. That is not the double-digit crash that a lot of YouTubers have been fear-mongering about the last few years. And that is the story of fewer homes available affecting pricing. Fewer homes to choose from in Tarrant and Dallas, fewer buyers in the market kept prices from falling. In Dallas, it actually pushed them up nearly 7%.
Now, the median price is the middle of everything that's sold. Half the homes sold above it, half below. It tells you the broad direction of the market. And the direction right now is holding or growing in most of DFW. What it doesn't tell you is what your specific home is worth and what it's going to do on the market. Your neighborhood, your price range, your condition, what buyers in that range are actually doing right now, that's a completely different conversation, and it's one that's worth having before you make any decisions. Now, let's take everything we just covered and zoom in to Flower Mound, Argyle, and Northlake because the county picture sets the stage, but the suburb data is where it gets more specific. What the data is showing you is a market that still rewards the people who understand where it actually is. And there is real opportunity here for sellers who position it right and for buyers who know what they're looking for and are ready to move when the right home comes along.
The county numbers give you a broad picture, but if you live in Flower Mound, Argyle, or Northlake, or you're trying to buy there, what you really want to know is what's happening in your area. And that transaction data from last month tells you a very specific story. And what we see over and over again is two very different experiences happening at the same time in the same city. And the line between them is almost always the same thing.
Flower Mound, homes are sitting an average of 24 days before they get an offer, same as last year. Here's what that looks like in the actual homes that sold last month. A 4-bedroom home in the $969,000 range sold in 3 days for $1 million, $31,000 over asking. A larger home listed just over $1.1 million sold in 5 days for $1,210,000 over asking. A home in the $1.3 million range, 5 days sold for $1,350,000 over asking. And a home listed at $1,495,000 sold on day one full price.
Those are 4 real homes from last month right here in Flower Mound, all gone in a week or less, some more than asking. And then the same data shows you the other side. A home that came on just under $1.5 million, it sat for 171 days, and it sold for $300,000 less than where it started. Same city, same market, same month.
That $300,000 difference came down to one thing: knowing how to position it from the beginning. Without the right guidance on where this market actually is, it's easy to come in too high and spend months paying carrying costs, the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, while the home sits. That's the part that doesn't show up in the headlines. The buyers in Flower Mound are still there. They're paying over asking for the right home. They're just walking right past everything else. And in this market, that lot is not very forgiving.
Argyle, homes are actually sitting fewer days than last year, about 4 days fewer on average. Moving a little faster, same story in the transaction. A home on a cul-de-sac listed at $1,250,000 sold in 2 days. A single-story home on a larger lot listed and sold the same day. But Argyle also had a home that originally listed at $590,000. It sold for 259 days. That's better part of the year. And it sold for $464,000. That's $126,000 less than where it started.
Argyle is actually a really interesting market for buyers right now. There is a little more negotiating room than in some other parts of DFW. The homes priced correctly are still selling and selling quickly, but sellers who come in above where the market is are feeling it. And if you've been watching Argyle as a buyer, there are sellers in that market right now who are more willing to have a real conversation than they were just a year ago. That doesn't mean going in with an unreasonable offer. It means the right offer on the right home has a genuine shot right now in a way it hasn't for a while.
Northlake, homes are sitting on average for 90 days before getting an offer, and the number of homes that are actually closed is down about 17% from last year. On the surface, that sounds rough, but look at what's actually sold last month. A home listed at $1.1 million sold in 5 days for $1,250,000. That's $150,000 over asking. A home listed just at over $700,000 sold in 13 days, just over asking.
So, how does a market where homes are sitting 90 days on average also produce a home that sold $150,000 over asking in just 5 days? Because that 90-day average is being pulled way up by the homes that came in too high and sat. One home in the Northlake data sat for 278 days before it sold, another 277 days. When you have homes that sitting that long, they drag the whole average up and make the market look a lot worse than it actually is for the sellers who priced correctly. And just like the other suburbs we covered today, the homes priced where this market actually is in Northlake are still selling. The ones that aren't are sitting a very long time and eventually selling for a lot less than where they started. That's not unique to Northlake. We see it everywhere right now. The starting price is everything.
What the data keeps telling you over and over is that the biggest thing standing between people and a good outcome right now isn't the market. It's not having the right information going in. Take a few minutes to understand what's actually happening like you're doing right now, and then hire an advisor who knows how to interpret that data and position you for success. That's what makes the difference between the people who sell for the highest price, buy the right home, and move forward with confidence, and the ones who stay stuck.
And if you want to avoid the mistakes a lot of people are making right now in this market, the kind that cost tens of thousands of dollars, add months to the process, and keep you up at night, Go ahead and schedule a discovery call with us. The link is below. We'll walk you through what your smartest next step looks like. And if you found this video helpful, we think you'll like this next one too.